What if I told you that there's two powerful exercises you can do in order to fix the common rib flare? Hi, I'm Alex Zephyr, founder of Resilient Training Rehab, and I've helped thousands of coaches and clinicians get faster and more consistent results with their clients. So in this video, we're going to be talking about why the rib flare happens and what we can do in order to address it. Now, the rib flare is a common thing. You can see the rib flare happen on one side or they can happen on both sides. And this has to do with different types of asymmetries in our body, but also different kinds of tension and where our center of mass is. So let's break down the two different types of rib flares so we can talk about the two exercises that help overcome those. So the first type of rib flare is somebody who has a rib flare just on the one side. And what you're going to start to see is when they lay down their back, you see one of the ribs that are poking out more than the other. You'll also maybe see a rib cage that's turned away from that side. So let's just say in this scenario, it is the right side. We have a right side that has more of this flared rib. When you look at the rib cage position, this rib cage actually looks like it's a bit more vertical, whereas this one looks like it's more open. This is going to suggest that the rib cage is turning towards that side. So these people in particular who have this are going to have limitations in shoulder mobility because of that rib flare. When I have that position, I'm getting a lot of tension on the back side of the body, which is naturally going to steal external rotation of the shoulder. Now, depending on how rotated I am, I could also lose internal rotation. So you have these people who may have a rounded shoulder in some circumstances or a hiked shoulder in others. People who have more of a hiked shoulder, you're going to start to see that limitation in external rotation. People who have the rounded shoulder, that's where you're going to start to see internal rotation limited. But this has to do with a rotation aspect that happens within the rib cage. So in order to address this, we're going to have to turn the rib cage back towards that side. For filming purposes, we're going to assume this is going to happen on the left side. So my explanation was on the right side, we're going to do the left side. So in this position, what I like to do is have the feet staggered. So if I've got the rib flare on the left side, I like to have that left foot shifted back more. I like the seated position because it's going to prevent me from overly arching my back, allowing the rib cage to sit back naturally. As I mentioned, we have a lot of tension happening on the back side of that rib cage. So I need to open up the back as I close down the front. Having this left foot back is going to cause my hips to turn towards this left leg. By holding on to the cable, well, the cable is going to want to pull me towards it, so now I have to shift back against it. And then by further causing more of a rotation with my right side reaching across, pulling myself towards the left, I can then just breathe into this position and you'll feel a big stretch in the left back. What you can also do is you can also make this dynamic into a rowing variation. You can also do a pressing variation, but the key thing here for this movement is to make sure I'm turned into the left side. I'm sitting a little bit more onto the left butt or left sit bone, and I could just hold this position, as I said, as a warm-up, just to breathe in and feel the stretch happening at the lower part of the rib cage and in between my shoulder blades. And this is going to be a great way in order to improve external rotation of the shoulder, but again, also bring the rib cage back on that side. The second type of rib flare is going to happen when both sides are flared. So now we're going to have more prominent arch in the rib cage. People are going to have more of this barrel-chested position, right? They're going to have their shoulder blades squeezed back more, and so you're going to see the shift forward on towards their toes. Now, I said that when I have a rib flare on one side, it has to do with a rotation. So let's say I've got the rib flare on the right, I now have a rib flare on the left. So these people can't rotate very well because I've flared both ribs. So now in order to rotate, I'm going to have to move my entire body as one big unit. So again, with these people, they've got a lot of tension happening in this lower rib cage. It's going to push the rib cage forward. You're going to see these people who also have more of a forward head position, because if I push this forward, you can also see that the head will start to move forward. And they're going to have a pelvic tilt. They're going to have this anterior pelvic tilt, which again puts a lot of tension going to the back side of the body. These people are going to be missing a lot more external rotation, but because they flare their ribs up like this, you can see how the chest bone or the sternum lifts up. If this is open, this allows for internal. Because they're doing it in a fake way by arching, they're going to appear to have a lot of internal rotation, but it's not actually real. As soon as you get them to do this internal rotation and you hold their ribs down, you'll see that they're actually quite limited in that motion. And this can cause problems because they start to feel tension in the front part of their shoulder because people think that they've got all this motion, and that ends up by just having issues because they don't actually have it. It's fake. And so this exercise is going to help bring the rib cage back and open up the entire backside of the body. So we're going to do a decline chest press, and we're going to do this in a modified way by being on the ground. So you're going to take an ab mat or something that's going to elevate your hips. Could be a foam roller as well. And what you're going to do is lay back and grab 2 dumbbells with you. Now, because these people have these flared ribs, their legs are going to want to open up. So I want you to take a big step out to the side. So now your feet are outside of shoulder width apart. So not in line with their hip, they're out towards the side. And I'm okay if you even turn the feet out slightly. You're going to have to tag your pants in contact with the ab mat or the foam roller, because if you don't, you're just going to flare your ribs. And so I want you to push the tag of your pants into the ground and give you a little bit of a posterior pelvic tilt, but I don't want you to do it by crunching and using a lot of stomach muscles. I want you to keep your stomach muscles soft as you press into the pad. You're then going to reach both dumbbells up towards the ceiling, and you're going to take a big breath into your nose. As you breathe out, you're going to come down with the dumbbells, keep the tag of your pants in contact, and then breathe in here, breathe out. And as you reach up towards the ceiling, I want you to reach your shoulder blades towards the ceiling as you feel your rib cage come back into the ground. Again, my stomach muscles are nice and loose and not tense, but when I press up, I'm thinking of pushing my back into the ground. That's what allows my shoulder blades to go up. So a lot of people will just reach up towards the ceiling and you see what happens to my head. My head starts to lift up. Well, this is crunching. That's not what I want. I want you to think like you're pushing your back into your rib cage back into the ground, and that's what allows that reaching to happen. So all of the force starts at the lower part of the rib cage. It doesn't start by you using your shoulders and pulling everything. Understanding the 2 different types of rib flare positions are going to allow you to pick more specific exercises for your clients or even for yourself. And by understanding why they actually happen, again, further allows you to be more specific with those exercises. If you want a program that helps address compensations like this while also allowing you to train, then check out my Rebuild Blueprint. It's a 12-week strength program that progresses into 3 different phases that are going to help overcome a lot of compensations that I commonly see with my clients while still feeling like you're actually moving. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, save, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.